Whether in school or at home, you've probably heard the word mindful a lot lately. People put it in front of everything, as in mindfulness meditation or mindful breathing. Teachers tell students to be mindful in how they speak and to think mindfully. The problem is that no one has ever explained what mindful actually means. That's probably because, as it turns out, not many people really know. Ask them and they'll likely describe it as thinking clearly or being self-aware, which is only a small part of what mindfulness really is. And what good is advice you can't follow? Having a great tool you can't use is like having a chair you can't sit on. So here's the definition of what mindfulness is really all about. Simply put, mindfulness is the art of observing your own thought patterns without judgment or negative emotions, so you can figure out if what's going on in your head is making you happy and getting you where you want to go or causing you trouble. Sometimes you think and do the same things over and over, hoping something will change. You're miserable or frustrated or angry and you can't figure out how to fix it, so you keep doing the same thing and blame yourself or others for why things aren't getting any better. Mindfulness is a tool to help us change the way we think, and since the way we think contributes to who we are and what we do, it's a really important tool. The simplest mindfulness tool is just to ask yourself a few questions. Start with something you want to change and then ask yourself what you want to change, what you've already done, what you want to happen instead, then why you think it keeps happening, how hard you're willing to work to change it, who you might be able to speak to. Call it the what, why, how, who strategy, but not necessarily in that order. Here's an example from my own experience. When I was a kid, I had a lot of trouble in school, as shown by my older videos on this channel. I had issues thinking before I spoke and controlling my anger, which made making friends difficult for me. I talked back to teachers and they didn't bother hiding their dislike for me. My frustration in school landed me in the principal's office more times than I can count. Luckily, I had a cool mom who helped me see that I had more control over my life than I thought I did. I began to ask myself, what do I want to be like? Why did I just say that, and why did the person react that way? Can I change my quick twitch anger response? What habits do I have that influence the way I act? During this period of my life, I watched my thoughts and observed myself in a way that yielded even more questions, which over time led to my improvement. Once you start asking questions, you start coming up with answers. Maybe not right away, but asking becomes a habit and new ideas follow eventually. It's important for me to tell you that I was often angry with myself during this process. Again, my mom stepped in and explained that it's impossible to change yourself if you aren't nice to yourself. That's a huge part of mindfulness, observing without judgment or negative emotions. You should never listen to anyone who makes you feel worthless, including yourself. Here's another mindfulness tool. There are almost always tons of different ways to tackle the same problem, and thinking about a problem from a different angle can be a great way to figure something out that you hadn't thought of. This is called reframing. Find a picture you like and then make a frame with your fingers or a circle with your hands and look at different parts of the picture. You can even turn the picture upside down or diagonally. By doing this, you see it differently. You might even see things you didn't notice before, or you can imagine smacking a guitar with your hand. You might think it's broken since it doesn't make a pleasant sound, but then you strum it gently and you make music. Here's an example from my life in 4th grade. In my 9-year-old opinion, the teachers didn't seem to like kids and I couldn't figure out why they were teaching at all. I hadn't thought about it from a different perspective. When I asked adults I trusted, they explained that most teachers choose teaching because they love it, but then they work extra hard and don't get paid enough to take care of their families. So now they have classrooms full of kids like me who don't like them and, well, you know how that turns out. Reframing doesn't change everything, but it helps you see the whole picture and not just part of it. And from there, you can make smarter decisions about who you want to be and how you want other people to respond to you. This can also work when there's something you don't want to do. For instance, if a teacher gives you history work about a random event that you aren't interested in, you might think, ugh, this is so boring. But then reframe it to make it more interesting. Imagine the people in the event as characters in a book, play, or movie. See everything unfold before your eyes. Plus, you may even get ideas for other creative endeavors you have in your life, such as writing or painting. Now you see how mindfulness can be a really practical and powerful tool to change things about yourself that aren't helping you get what you want out of life. If you understand what being mindful means and you practice it, you can change behaviors that keep you from accomplishing things that are important to you, like making friends, getting onto a sports team, or into a great school. There are lots of books and videos about mindfulness, but one thing that's been around for a long time and that I highly recommend is Sean Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. You can listen to it as an audiobook as well. I started listening to it when I was 9 years old and continued listening to it over and over again whenever I needed a refresher. It gives you some really smart baby steps so you can learn to drive your mind instead of it driving you. Well, now that you have a better idea of what mindfulness actually is, try asking an adult for their definition and start a conversation. They might surprise you, or you might surprise them.